Welcome to another video on Influential Sports. This video was unplanned, but I just got done watching TNA Impact, first episode of the year, about 20 minutes ago. And it was a fun show, a great way to get the year started. I had some great wrestling content, so I had to cover it. I was going to make it short, but 3 minutes wasn't going to be enough time for me to cover everything that happened in the show. Now we're going to start with the beginning of the show, Joe Hendry coming out there, cutting a promo about Nick Nemeth probably going to win the World Championship. I see the hype with Joe Hendry. I ain't checked out Impact in a while, so seeing it for the first time in a while, it was cool. And I know Joe Hendry, he got a lot of hype around him being in NXT and stuff. So yeah, and then Nick Nemeth's brother, Ryan Nemeth, came out there. He interrupted him, started talking about his brother and how Joe Hendry was disrespecting him, this and that. So then you get a match with Rhino and Ryan Nemeth, which it was already made official for the night, but they decided to get the match out the way and have it start the show. Which, unfortunately, this was a bad match with Rhino and Ryan Nemeth. It felt unnecessary. It was a bad match. Didn't enjoy it. Definitely like a 1 out of 10. The promo to start the show was good, so that's what really saved the segment. But the match was kind of stupid and pointless. Now, it did lead to some stuff later, which I'm going to get into that in a second. But I didn't like that at all. Then another thing, which it was a lot of promos in this on this first episode of the year, and I'm going to make mention of that later and how I felt about it and give my overall rating for the show. But and then Rhino lost the match because Ryan Nemeth brought a chair into the ring, didn't use it, Rhino stopped him. Then Rhino used the chair and he got disqualified. And he asked confused if he hasn't been doing this for a long time. Like, you're a Hall of Famer in TNA. He'll probably be a WWE Hall of Famer if he isn't already. Like, you know what you're doing. And then after that, you had the segment with Jordan Grace. She obviously she don't think too highly of Tessa Blanchard. She's very upset because she cost her potentially winning she cost her the World Championship. So it made sense why she was on edge, and Tessa Blanchard said she was going to be at TNA tonight. So they, once again, a lot of stuff was all over the place, like it didn't really coincide with each other. Like it had happened then there's a few matches that happened in between, then this and that happened. But then you got another segment, the Rascals, they were cutting the promo, and I'm 100% convinced the Rascals were high during this promo. They were talking about the Hardy Boys and how much they looked up to them, who were the tag team champions. And the Hardy's tag team championships look nice. It's like got like a red strap. Like, those are some nice tag titles. Those are probably my favorite tag team titles in all the wrestling. So then you get the Hardy Boys and Rascals, they talking. Then the match get made official. They was like, you wouldn't want to defend it against anybody else, this and that. The Rascals, they love the opportunity going against two guys they grew up watching and aspiring to be like them. So at Genesis on January 19th, it's gonna be the Rascals versus the Hardy Boys for the TNA Tag Team Championships, and that should be a fun match. So then you had after that, you finally get another match. It was Kushida against Ace Austin, and this match was really fun. It was in the middle of the card. Both of these wrestlers really good. I think Kushida was in AEW a few times. Don't know much about him. No, Ace Austin in the tag team. His tag team partner's out, so it's gonna go on a solo run. And man, Ace Austin became my favorite wrestler after watching TNA tonight for the first time in a while. Absolutely love Ace Austin, and his finishing move. Forgot the name of it, but it was cool what he did. I'm gonna definitely have to learn the name of that. And then after the match, he cut a real passionate promo talking about his tag team partner and how he's gonna be out, and he wants him to go on a singles run. So he's like, he wants the main championship. He want to go after that title that Nick Nemeth got, that Joe Hendry might win, or whoever. He want to go after that title. But then Moose, the X Division champion, he came out there and he was talking his stuff. He was like, this is the title, the X Division title. This is the title you should be going for, but are you scared to face me? And Ace Austin was like, he said the funniest thing. He was like, I don't know if you can count this high, but I was won not once, not twice, but 3 times was out of X Division champion. So he's like, I can make it a 4th time if that's what you want. So then Santino Marella, he come out there and he make the match official for Genesis. We're going to get Moose and Ace Austin. So that match going to be really fun. Like, the way they're building up that Genesis pay-per-view, it should be a great pay-per-view to start the year. And a lot of the stuff they did tonight, I liked. It was just a lot of promo segments. And I'm going to tell y'all my thoughts on that towards the end of the video. So then after that, you get Ron Nimmo backstage. He getting checked on. Then his brother Nick Nimmo come back there. He was like, what happened, this and that. And he was like, Ron Nimmo was like, it's all Rhino's fault. He hit me with a chair. So then Rhino come out there, and Rhino was like, or Santino Marella had the idea of the Nimmo brothers going against Rhino and a partner. Then Rhino's like, I believe that I can beat the both of you. And then Joe Hendry appears. And now you're going to get Rhino and Joe Hendry versus Nick Nimmo and Ron Nimmo next week on TNA. Which I hope that's a better match than what that one-on-one was. Because, you know, Nick Nimmo, he's a great wrestler. Obviously known as Dolph Ziggler in WWE. But he's a great wrestler. So, and then everybody else, they're good too. It's just Ron Nimmo. I don't know. Maybe I need to see him wrestle some more, or he just needs some more experience. But he didn't show me that he was that good of a wrestler, and it's always room for improvement. He got the whole 2025 to prove me wrong, so I'm not gonna like rule it out that he can be a good wrestler in my eyes one day. Then he had another promo segment. Mike Santana, he came out there. Well, actually, I ain't even mentioned the system got into like this argument backstage, and I didn't really know what that was about because I ain't see the last pay-per-view that they did of the year, so I didn't really know what that was about. Then you had Mike Santana cutting a promo with Josh Alexander and Northern Armory. Then Josh Alexander, he was like, when you left, you did nothing. When you was gone, I was winning championships, this and that. I mean, he was right. And now Mike Santana, he's back. And he challenging the Northern Armory to a match next week. I'm guessing it's going to be a gauntlet match because he said he's going to run through all three of them. And we'll see about that because I think, obviously, Josh Alexander going to be the last guy to enter. So we'll see where it goes. But Mike Santana, I remember, he was part of one of my favorite tag teams from TNA, LAX. I think that was one of my favorite tag teams back in the day. So seeing Mike Santana still going strong in TNA, I'm messing with it. So I hope he get that win. Then you had, what was the next match after that? You had another promo. Nick Nimmo went out to cut a promo, giving respect to Joe Hendry. Then Ron Nimmo, he came out there, he was like, why do you keep giving respect to Joe Hendry? And then Nick Nimmo was like, this is all your fault that we have a tag team match next week. Like, I should be resting, getting ready for the match on the 19th. But now I got to wrestle a tag team match that I shouldn't be a part of. That's basically what he was saying. He didn't say all that. But that's what Nick Nimmo was thinking. And then Nick Nimmo, he handed him the mic. Then he just stormed to the back. And Ron Nimmo, like, his promo skills are really bad. At least, this is my first time really seeing them. So I could be all wrong. But from what I've seen tonight, I was not a big fan of it. Then you had a security guard, like I said earlier, Jordan Grace. She was on edge about Tessa Blanchard showing up. So she was sitting by the entrance, where the cars come in for the wrestlers. And then they had security come out there because Jordan Grace, she had to get ready for a match. So they had security come out there. And then the security guard was attacked at one point. So, yeah. And I ain't even been... Actually, I mentioned that after I mentioned this. But the main event with Heather and Ash, Tasha Steele, and Rosemary versus the tag champ Spitfire, Jordan Grace, and the world champ Masha Slamovich. That was a really fun 8-woman tag team match. It was only 3 matches on the show, and 2 of the 3 delivered. Ace Austin and Kushida was a fun match. Then the main event was even better. Like, that was a great way to end the show. And the babyface team of Spitfire, Jordan Grace, Masha Slamovich. I mean, you have 3 champions, so it only makes sense that they win the match. But they end up getting the win in the end. And man, it was a fun match. Then after that, Tessa Blanchard, she came out there. She attacked Jordan Grace. Now this is weird. Like, the fans were trying to help her because she was getting jumped. But I guess the heels missed their cue and were supposed to attack the other 3 in the ring earlier. Now, it ended up happening, but it was a bit missed time. Now, it's wrestling. Wrestlers always going to make mistakes, so I'm not really going to harp on that too much. So, a miscue towards the end, But then Jordan Grace, Tessa Blanchard fighting towards the back. Tessa Blanchard ended up standing tall. She said she's gonna take a locker room back. Then Ash and Heather, they were holding up the women's tag team titles that belong to Spitfire at the moment. So all the heels ended up standing tall. So I really can't wait for next week to see what happens, because this was an exciting episode. Now, my one gripe with this episode is that it was way too many promos. You only had 8 promos and 3 matches on a 2-hour show. With 2 hours, you should be putting on 5 to 6 matches, because you can get 3 matches in an hour easily. And then they showed this random clip from the Hardy Boys a few years ago when they were the tag champs. It was like a throwback that I guess they do it every once in a while. It was like a throwback match they was doing. I guess you needed it to fill time, but you could have said that slot for some other wrestlers to get on the card, or somebody else that had a segment to get a match. And I could be wrong. It could have been more than 8 segments, but I know for sure it was 3 matches and at least 8 segments. Then you had a random throwback match with the Hardys. I just felt like that was unnecessary. And it kind of hurt the show. I know they started the year, they're trying to get certain people established, but it should have been at least, and since it's the first show, maybe 4 or 5 matches would have been fine. But that's way too many promos outweighing the wrestling that's happened on the show. Now, it is fine for this week, because 2 of the 3 matches were good. The first one didn't hit, but the segments and the stuff that built around it made sense, and it's a good build leading into next week. And there's going to be more matches next week, so I think they won't have this problem. But overall, Impact was pretty solid tonight. Because of the unnecessary throwback to the Hardys match and all the promo segments, feeling like we only got 2 matches, even though we had 3, but that Rhino match was really bad. I'm sorry. But I'm going to give this show a 7.5 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was a good way to start the year. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you watched Impact tonight, let me know your thoughts on the show. Peace.